It's a vibe. Listen, other thing that I'm looking forward to for the upcoming year, and I'm gonna start talking about it from now, is Reggae Genealogy. All right, but a lot of the younger artists and so forth, I bring them in the studio here. Believe it or not, contrary to popular belief, and we have conversations off air as much as we have conversations on camera, and the sentiments seem to be the same. You know, all we ask for is an opportunity. You know. Where's the knowledge? Where's the info? And want to sit at the table. You know, whenever things are happening, things are going on, they want to be present. They think, well, go on, DJ Marquez, large, my brother. Great to see you. But whenever the opportunities present themselves, whenever we are actually doing stuff, the reason why it may appear, or maybe why there is truth to the space being dominated by the older folks, the elders, the OGs, whatever you want to call them, is because they show up. You know what I mean? They show up. Our young people, you talk a real talk, a big talk and stuff like that, but you're never there. I'm going to say it straight up. You know, that's one thing. When I have the conversation with the OGs sometimes, the issue a lot of times is that people want to be handed something. Right? And don't get me wrong, a lot of the young people, they're working hard, they're doing stuff. But a lot of folks want stuff handed to them. Now, when we talk about things being handed to somebody, they may not see it that way. You know, they think that, oh, I'm putting in work. But at the end of the day, no, you're not really. Right? So I say, last year at Reggae Genealogy, we had a great support. Great turnout. But I was disappointed in my young artists that are artists, musicians, producers, the folks that when I talk to them, they gripe and complain. And I've said to myself, for the type of folks that complain and don't do anything about the complaints and don't put themselves in positions to, I don't want to hear nothing. And I'm going to be honest with you, anyone out, because I'm a brethren them, that we're having a conversation, you better talk football with me, talk basketball with me, talk soccer, everything with me. But don't bring up certain things because I'm going to shut you down right then and there and say you're not putting yourself in a position to affect change. You're not there for that, and you're not. It doesn't require any hard work. It requires for you to show up. If we put together a panel of illustrious panelists, people who are qualified to speak on certain things and to answer certain questions and to enlighten you on certain things, and you're not there to receive it, then all in all, you can't be complaining. So for the young folk, all of the young artists, singers, DJs, musicians, everybody that when I have a conversation with you off cam, off air, you're telling me how the struggle is and whatever, and you start calling people's names. These people's names that you're calling are in the room when these things are happening. Why aren't you in the room? If for no other reason, networking. I want to shout out, you know, sometimes we talk about the artists and we talk about the musicians, we talk about the producers, but I want to take a minute to give a special shout out to a manager, young manager who is doing it like no other. Grassroots, because a lot of times people talk about grassroots. It ain't really grassroots. If you could get the hookup from the uncle or your auntie or grandpa, your daddy or whatever the case may be, don't get me wrong, take advantage of what you got, but that ain't really grassroots. Grassroots is you going out there with no connects, networking, navigating your way, putting yourself in the positions, making your way through the doors and sitting at the tables where you ought to be and need to be, right? And you watch the grind and how they become respected in the industry. Now, fast forward some years down the road, what's going to happen pretty much is this manager is going to be so dialed in, so tuned in, have her tentacles firmly planted in all the avenues necessary for her artist to make it, to maneuver, right? Which is the perfect way to go about it, because while you are doing that, your artist is busy building that catalog. And the artist himself have a dope catalog. So by the time they get to that door and can get that door open, she's positioned to have the conversations because she's developed relationships and avenues. And the artist, in the meantime, has put together that catalog worthy of the ears of everybody, right? So when she opens that door and walks through and say, here's the artist, here's the material, they're both golden, right? And then guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? We're going to have the same folks who are not doing that saying, well, because of she and money John and him, you know what I mean, him have the in, him have the in, and she have the in, and she have the, how did they get the in? I am a believer, just me, G Cole, I'm a believer of this. I will give to the hardest working person what I won't give to the most talented person. That's just me. I will share any platform I have, any networking opportunity I have, any relationship I have with the hardest working person before I share it with the most talented person. Right? And while at times they may be one and the same, oftentimes they are not. Right? Put the work in. And a lot of times the work is just showing up. Showing up. And you know how I know we're not too busy to show up? Because every Joe Schmo that puts on a show, you show up for that trying to get on the stage. Or you show up to that trying to rub shoulders, right? If there's a big artist in town, it don't matter what your job is, you can find the time off. If it's you can find the time off to be there because you want to rub shoulders, you want footage, you want pictures, you want this, you want that to post. But at the end of the day, let me tell you something. That big artist has zero interest in making you or the other big artist. He's already the big artist trying to keep that spot, right? And they have other big artist friends and stuff like that. So they don't mind you coming there and making up numbers and whatever the case may be. It's all gravy, right? Just another adoring fan. But at the end of the day, there's no benefit to that. So since you can craft the time and create the time and carve out the time to do all of those things, whenever the opportunities present themselves, that you can get some knowledge. How come you're not there to participate in that? How come you're not there for that? And then you're gonna talk my ear off, telling me about everybody who has stopped you and every obstacle that's in the way and how you would have been the biggest thing in the world had they not blocked you. If not for the gatekeepers, you would have been the next Sean Paul, the next Shaggy, Big and Bob Marley and all them things. They have artists that tell me all the time, say, people that compare me to Dennis Brown. I don't know which Dennis freaking Brown you talking about. Must be Dennis Donahue Brown. Right? Right? Must be Dennis Brownie. Right? Must be Denise. Right? But not Dennis Emmanuel. I got people telling me, people say, yo, you know something, I love your album Over the Bar. I know which Bob you talking about. Must be Bob Jenkins. Right? Bob Evans and them. Not Bob Marley. Ain't nothing worse. Listen, just bring your music. I say, here it is, man. Ain't nothing worse than when somebody come and say, yo, you know, so somebody tell me, say, the people that might tell me, say, Jaja. It's like this thing, I take them back to Bob Marley. I had to take them back to Dennis Brown. It take them back to, I don't know who you talking about, my G. Don't put me in no position after lying. Dennis Brown, Sparky is a Dennis Brown, the Uber driver. I'm not Dennis Emmanuel, but not the Crown Prince. Right? Must be Crown Royal or something, not the Crown Prince. Right? The Crown Regime, not the Crown Prince. Right? Come through, man. Whenever these scenarios and situations are put in place, first of all, it takes a lot to get them there, because the other thing too, always behind the scenes, I've heard people say this. Well, you know the powers that be, them and money. Nah, get back in there, them and money. Nah, go come to certain events and talk to the people or whatever the case may be. But when they are there, you are not there. And that's the reason why oftentimes I don't blame the OGs. I don't blame the movers and shakers. I don't blame the impactful folks for not taking you seriously. Again, to me, I will afford the hardest worker what I will never afford to the most talented. It's just me. So again, don't be griping and bitching, complaining to me. And then when the scenario is there and the event is there where the people are there that you can come and listen to them talk about the industry, get an opportunity to voice your opinion to them. And again, That's just the tip of the iceberg. Think of the networking opportunity thereafter. And I'm not saying you're going to walk up there and they're going to say, I hear the maddest thing when me carry go get Chris Blackwell. Not that. But you can establish relationships. You know what I mean? Some contacts. You know what I'm saying? So that's what is important. So when you sit down and come to me and tell me how the gatekeepers them this and the gatekeepers them that, and people keep you out on the radio and play your music, right? And promoters not booking you on shows and whatever the case may be. They don't know you. They don't know what you're capable of. You know how much music come out, how much artists they bought? Hundreds of artists. A lot of time the artist you see on the stage is not the artist who sell them soul, is the artist who that promoter is familiar with. Who the artist that's on the show is familiar with and can say, yeah man, bring on artists or whatever, you know. But if it ain't you, you start looking at it as though something went wrong and somebody is doing you wrong. Not every time that you don't make it to the mountaintop was because there was an obstacle that stopped you from going to the mountaintop. It was because you looked up and thought the mountaintop was too far. And you didn't want to walk up there. You couldn't get an Uber to take you to the mountaintop, right? Couldn't get anybody to put you on their back and take you to the mountaintop. And you don't feel like walking to the mountaintop, right? But when you're telling the story, though, you be talking like everybody held you down. Oh, Lord, they held me back, this gatekeeping and this thing or whatever the case may be. Does that stuff exist? Absolutely. Does majority of the people who complain about it are they affected by it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know what I find most hilarious? When somebody complains to me about somebody who doesn't know their name. You know, say, such and such and such and such a hold on the thing, you know, such and such a hold back the thing, you know. And them man, they don't even know your name. Them man, they don't know who the hell you are. And you know the reason why them man, they don't know your name and don't know who the hell you are? Hey, Tracy Christie, how are you? Good to see you. Large up on my Canadian fam. Stay warm if you can. If not, call the realtor, man. We got places for you down here. Brr, chilly. No, sir. Love you. But whenever things are going, there's information and networking opportunities. Do it, man. Take advantage of it. But here's the thing. If you don't do it and don't take advantage of it, consider it you vacating your right to bitch and complain about it. Right? Well, my artists, musician in South Florida. People watch from near and far. I know people are in places that they just can't make it because they're too far. I feel you. I ain't hopping on no planes for certain things. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, if you're not going to do it, then don't complain. So I want to make my resolution this. G. Cole, from Homegrown with G. Cole, are going to tell you, shut the hell up and get out of my ear. If we are having a conversation, whether it be on camera or not, and you start talking to me about lack of opportunity, all the gates that are closed and are held closed, using words like gatekeepers and people are blocked. If once you start bringing that up, I reserve the right to say, shut the hell up, get out my ear with that. If I know that the events that would be beneficial for you weren't there. Like I said, if an artist in town and them put on them thing, we're all there trying to get a photo op, trying to be on the stage, do what, and again, I'm not saying work the thing, do what you do. But again, don't get it twisted. Even the stuff you think are relationships and friendships, it's a relationship and a friendship for you, right? You can't tell me anyway, anyhow, that artist is going to contribute to your career. Mark you get the opportunity to go perform, knock yourself out, do your thing. But the people who won producers that, because sometimes all it takes is for you to record a song for the right producer. Radio people, all you think, it takes sometimes for the right radio hand to get a hold of your song. I mean, I'll say I could blow up and turn Chris Brown, right? But it's about the networking possibilities. And I went off on a tangent and I said, I want to shout out a particular manager, and I didn't drop her name. I'm going to go right back to her. Making moves. Working them hours. Making sure her artist's image and music is in every place it ought to be and need to be. While the artist puts that catalog together so that he can go in that door when she opens it. doesn't miss a networking opportunity for nothing. To be perfectly honest with you, if I was to ask her, I'm pretty confident she would probably take a networking opportunity than a stage opportunity if they were conflicting. And the manager I'm talking about is Miss Francine Mambe. All right, Bacchus Entertainment, right? Large up Jadan, large up Fran, putting in crazy work, mad work, visibility out of this world. I'll tell you what I look at and I say beautiful and I love it. Of course, they're at the events. Of course, they're all trying to get their stage time and their stage shine and their collaborations done and all them things there. But I'll tell you this. If you're not prepared for the moment's going to pass you by. Right? And I think a lot of times because industry falsifies this story so much, then sometimes people are just victim of wrong information anyway. Because it's the whole concept when people tell you, oh, I was in a basement just singing my heart out, and such a producer walked by and heard me and said, oh my God, this is a nightingale. I got to take him with me to the mountaintop. And they just come boom when he get discovered. Somebody say, oh my Lord, Jimmy Fallon was just in Jamaica on his vacation and happened to hear a song playing through these speakers in his car and said, oh my Lord, that voice so glorious, that message is so powerful, that song is so dope. I need him on my show. It don't work that way. It don't work that one more time. No, it don't work that way. A lot of networking and connections and stuff like that, and oftentimes money got into play. It's just what it is. Now, if you ain't got the money, you might want to get the networking done. Saying all of this to say, when Reggae Genealogy is on, we got that panel discussion, which is actually January 18th, I think, at the Allen Space Caribbean Museum right here in Plantation. And we have the panel discussion. We're going to have the necessary people on there, producers. They can answer your questions, right? Because at the end of the day, we're making music, trying to get it out to the world. My goal is to bring a producer in who gets his music out to the world, right? We want to figure out how we want the music heard by the world, okay? So we're going to bring somebody in from radio who gets that music played out there to the world, right? We also want to find the producers who are producing the music that of yesteryear that created the classics and whatever. Okay, we're going to try to get some of them too. You know what I mean? That's what we are doing. And my hope, my intention, my lofty dream would be the artist that's out there right now, or shoot, out there more than we are, have been out there, know what it's like out there, know what it took to get out there. Let's see if we can get one of them or two of them or whomever in the building too to come talk about, boom, what's it going to take to get out there, what it took to get out there, what's different then versus now, what methods did they implement then that they're still implementing today? What methods did they implement then that just ain't gonna work today? Right? What methods did they implement then that you might want to try or you might not want to try? We're gonna bring them in too. Right? And then in that room with you will be other people on the same journey like you. Since they stay out and I wonder who not do it that way and whatever the case may be. Let me tell you something. If you're at home, guaranteed the other brother that ain't trying to make no moves is at home too. So y'all are in the spot that you need to be. But if you're in the building where the movers and shakers are trying to empower and educate folks, then best believe it's a whole bunch of other people like that that's in the room. So them the people you want to rub shoulder with. Those are your true peers. They're the one them on the peer. I breadfruit them. You understand? I breadfruit them. So you there who want the breadfruit and them own the breadfruit. No, the ones that are in there, that's your true peers, my G. That's your true peers. That's who you want to be around. Adessa, you want that. So, like I said, last event was beautiful. You know, well attended. And while I felt good about the fact that an event created to promote, empower, educate, expand and expound upon this thing called reggae music on our behalf, right? While I was proud that it was a well-attended event, people who had conversation with me afterwards will tell you I was hella disappointed. You know why? You know why? Because all the people in the room were people who technically are on the tail end of their stuff. You know what I mean? They're old people. Most of the people in the room are old people. The people who are not out here saying them not getting no chances and whatever, them just there for some knowledge and whatever, are because this is some of their history, and some of them, you know what I mean? I talked to the man, I'm at the biggest baddest dancehall tune over the 90s and 80s. Oh my gosh, I am not. Talk to him. This is the person who was managing all of them artists, the top 50 reggae artists of the 90s and early 2000s. Oh my damn, let me go talk to that person there. You know what I mean? Oh snap, who that? That's the person who used to, what? That's the person who's doing that? What? Introduce myself on whatever. Now the next time you see them, you're not introducing yourself to them, you're reintroducing them like, hey, remember we met at such and such and I told you I had this, I had that. Remember, did you check it out? Blah, 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 blah. Get some email addresses, get some phone numbers, get some social media contact. Because these people too are looking at, when they go to these little symposiums and whatever they do, they're also looking like, I don't see the people out here that's griping. Oh, they watch this show and they hear y'all coming out here bitching. Yep. But when they ask me, so how come I'm going to send them another route? Because it was asked of me. It was asked of me. G-Code, how come? What them there? What the people y'all talk about? Man, I was embarrassed. I was like, I think they mixed up the date, I'm like, yeah, I think they mixed up the date still, because you don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think them, yeah. Couldn't say nothing. You know what I mean? Because and not just me, people out here making sure that because we hear your voice and we hear your complaints. But it seems to be exactly that, complaints. And a lot of time when people complain, they complain because they have the opportunity to complain. If you took away the reason for them to complain, they'd have to find something else to complain about, because complaining is what they do. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? So ladies and gentlemen, again, early stages, planning, the marketing stuff haven't even been rolled out yet. But I'm on here griping. The people don't even know I'm on here talking. They probably going to call me up later on and be like, bro, you're not supposed to be, you know what I mean? But my brethren said, man, bro, don't fridge, me can't keep nothing. You know what I mean? That's what them say. But the thing is, we have to just do what we got to do. All right. And again, like I said, it's okay if you don't want to do stuff and you want to just gripe, but don't gripe to me. Because like I said, I'm going to tell you, shut the hell up and get up out my ear. It's just what it is. Right? So again, if and when the opportunities present themselves, take advantage, man. And if you're an artist, because of course, when you're coming up, you got your little manager who is, we know how the industry go. People probably not going to do the whole bag investing too much time and effort into new art. That's not, the industry don't work like that no more, right? Where people invest a lot of time, effort, and all that stuff in an artist that they don't see necessarily. And it's not that they don't believe in it, but they're looking at the returns. So if you have your manager, you young artist in the game, and your manager coming in the game too, whatever. And your manager keep on coming at and say, yo, such and such an artist or down, so if we can try reach down there and get in, maybe we can, boom. Such and such a show keep down, so we can try get on the show, boom. And 99% of them you don't get on, the 1% that you get on, you ain't gonna get paid for it either, and they ain't gonna come on G-Code's show and complain to me that they asking you to do shows for free, right? If your manager's not telling you about places and stuff that are there for you to educate yourself on what's going on, fire them. If your manager tells you about the shows that they're going to try to get on, but they don't tell you about the industry movers and shakers that's in one position that you can learn from, network with, and try to get ahead in some way, shape, or form. If your manager's not telling you where the right people are that can hear your music and you can try develop something with, but they telling you about the shows that you're going to try to get on for free, fire them. Fire them. I know it's going cold, you know what I mean? It's going to be rough and it's going to be something, but you're going to have to fire them. You're going to have to look them dead in the eye and say these words. You're going to have to do it. I'm saying you're going to have to man up. Look them in the eyes. Because you're an upcomer. You're doing what you do. Trying to make it happen. They're to some degree an upcomer too. They're new to the game, right? But they said they're managers. So even though they're new to the game, you're new to the game. You're working on your craft as an artist. They should be working on their craft as a manager. Doing some thinking, right? It's their job to think. Your job to create. Your job, both of you come together. Voltron, right? But if they're not doing that, if they keep telling you about dub plates, right? If they keep telling you about shows, and they're not telling you about the symposiums and the events. It's Christmas time. You got me up here ranting about this, right? But they're not focusing on the other side of it. Then something's wrong. So like I said, look them dead in the eye. You got your manager telling you about shows and stuff. Your manager telling you about event that you need to go post up at. But your manager not tell you about the symposiums, about the place where you can go learn about these things, the questions you can ask. And even if, the good thing about being in the right place to ask questions is even though you might not be able to have a dialogue or a lengthy dialogue with somebody because there's 500,000 people waiting to have that same dialogue with them, you can get pointed in the right direction. So we practicing. You don't look them dead in the eye. Yeah? They come to you and they say, yeah, I got to talk to you, Sparky, my artist. I know, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to tell you what's going on. You know the Capleton and Sanchez. I got down the road next week. Me try to see if we can get in. So if we get in and we can link and thing, we tell them, say, yo, you're a bad artist and you can perform. And we'll see if we can get you up on the stage. You know what I mean? 12 o'clock in the afternoon, no, don't worry about it. 2 people there, don't worry about it. But then there are symposiums and places where you can educate yourself, and they don't never come to you about that. I want you to look them dead in the eye. I need you to look them dead in the eye and say these 3 words. Mama, you're fired, all right? Mama, you fired.
All we need is love.
It's Christmas time, man. Got some holiday joints for y'all.